Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to Abnormal Voyages. My name is David, and today we find ourselves in Hollywood, California. As you can see, I am right outside the Ripleys, believe it or not, our next stop in our mission to see all the Ripleys that we possibly can. And it's a little rainy outside, so it is the perfect time to duck inside and see some oddities. Come tag along. Hello.
We're going to a place that you've never heard of before. It's Abnormal Voyages. You're gonna learn something new. We're gonna open new doors. It's Abnormal Voyages.
Just like the movies and TV shows, the Ripleys, believe it or not, of Hollywood is full of glitz and glam. Right from the beginning, here in the lobby before you even enter the collection, you are treated to some amazing exhibits. Being in Hollywood, a lot of things here are related to movies in some way or another, such as this cabinet of memorabilia here, where you can find Charlie Chaplin's cane, Laurel and Hardy's signature hats, and even a prop penguin from Batman Returns. In his time, Robert Ripley was a celebrity himself, so it makes sense that he got to meet a lot of famous actors and actresses in his day. Here on the walls, you can see a couple of these portraits of Mr. Ripley meeting other famous people, as well as some of the very first handprints and footprints in front of the Chinese theater. Here, Hollywood history truly is all around you. There's also incredible art, such as this giant portrait of Angelina Jolie, made completely out of airsoft pellets. Personally, I couldn't make something look this good even with a full set of paint. And even though there is a lot of Hollywood here, there is plenty of other natural and unnatural oddities abound. This is the hair of the Guinness World Record holder for longest hair on a teenager. She went 12 years before cutting it. Now, Ripley's, believe it or not, started as a cartoon, so it was really cool seeing this shirt here that happened to have the original cartoon drawings kind of put on it, and then some newspaper clippings all about a very famous shipwreck, you might have heard of it, called the Titanic, and here is a piece of coal that was on the doomed ship. And then one ship leads to another, as we see a very impressive model of the Queen Mary bursting through the wall. And right next to that, a very clever pun. This is a card shark, made completely out of playing cards. Now, I mentioned in some of those portraits that we saw people stepping into the cement in front of the Chinese theater for the first time. Here are some of the actual blocks that have their footprints, such as Douglas Fairbanks here. Mary Pickford was the one before him, and then this is Sid Grauman, the actual owner of the Chinese theater, way back when it was first constructed. And then a very touching display as we see a large collection of announcements and obituaries of celebrities that have passed away but are still remembered in all their fantastic works that they left behind. In a way, becoming a movie star almost makes you immortal. Though you may be gone, you will never be forgotten.
At Ripley's, even going down the stairs is fun. As you go down, it's like you're walking on the keys of a piano, and you can go back up as fast or as slow as you want. Kind of reminds me of Tom Hanks and Big. Very fun.
Here's a foot that's probably not going to be playing any piano anytime soon. This is an ancient Egyptian mummified foot. And then kind of related to that is this giant sneaker. That isn't actually a shoe, it's a coffin. You've got to be a really, really big fan of shoes to end your life in there. Then if you feel like dropping down and crawling through some tunnels, you're rewarded with some fascinating mini oddities, such as this matchstick train. Now, usually we see big giant things made out of matchsticks, but it takes just the same amount of skill to make small items like the train. Another example of how the miniature world is very exciting is this bug combat cycle. This is what many people could use to, fight each other. They would jump on their bugs and go crazy. So it's kind of like Mad Max, but with borrower-sized people. On the walls, you'll see some signs that have the original cartoons of things on them, just to remind you where Ripley's came from. And then, more examples of bugs. These ones aren't fighting, though. These ones are just kind of hanging out, riding regular bikes, playing music. You know, typical bug things. And then, if you crawl your way around, you'll see more bugs, but if you look up, they'll talk about how these ones are hairy bugs. I didn't know that was a problem bugs ran into. Maybe they go and get their hair cut at the bug barber shop or something. And then we see a genuine New Guinea ancestor skull. They would decorate these and display them outside their homes, believe it or not.
Well, a little bit of a tight spot, but sometimes that's what it takes to see the unbelievable.
Speaking of unbelievable, check out this portrait of Alfred Hitchcock. Besides the word psycho right there, everything else in this was created with birds. That's right, hidden in the portrait are hundreds of the feathery friends. There are plenty of other unusual animals on display here, such as this inflated taxidermy cow head. It kind of makes a balloon cow of sorts. Very unique. Now, this peacock looks really cool, but as a matter of fact is a fake. They used it to try to trick Robert Ripley, and it didn't work. And if you ever wanted a really cool costume for your dog, check out this custom dog armor. Fits perfectly, and makes sure your canine friend is safe in battle. For some other unique clothing accessories, we turn to this cabinet here, where we see a purse, a vest, a dress, some shoes, all made with starburst wrappers. That's for sure some sweet fashion. Here's another fun creation. This was knitted to show you the faces of Marilyn Monroe, but only if you look at it from certain angles. Isn't that cool?
So now I'm hanging out with two of my favorite characters from Star Wars, the droids C-3PO and R2-D2. As you can see, these are homemade out of some very cool metal parts, but that is not the only Star Wars things they have here. Right next to us is a Millennium Falcon, which you probably recognize, but it is autographed by tons of stars of the movie, including Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher. Absolutely amazing. And then this here, Revenge of the Jedi. This was the original name of the third movie to come out. I don't know why it changed, but this is one of the actual original posters. And then one last Star Wars thing, we're going to have to come around to the other side of the room. Definitely want you to see this.
This is a custom-made Ripley's Believe It or Not lightsaber with a box written in Star Wars language, and next to that, a handprint of Peter Mayhew, good old Chewbacca.
Continuing the oddities based on iconic movies, I bring to you Minas Tirith made out of matchsticks. This of course comes from the Lord of the Rings Return of the King, which is currently tied for the most Oscar wins in history, winning an astonishing 11 Oscars. This took almost 3 years to complete and over 3,000 hours of work.
The level of detail that went into this is absolutely mind-blowing. Just look at all the little windows, the turrets, the doors, everything is here. The only thing missing is perhaps a whole set of little figures where you could actually reenact different scenes from the movie. I think things like this, more than anything, prove how big of a cultural touchstone movies are to us. If a story can create so much passion that you're gonna make something like this, who knows what else they may inspire. That brings us to another big movie star, King Kong. This is a prop from the very original King Kong movie. It's crazy that something made out of wood is still around from back then. And this super cool statue, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, but making up his entire body are scenes from other cult classic, action, big fandom movies. Looking through here, you can probably pick out about 100 different franchises.
Few Hollywood legends ever reach the pinnacle of iconic status the way that Marilyn Monroe did. One of her most iconic moments that everybody knows her for is the Happy Birthday, Mr. President, which was sang to JFK, and she wore a dress that looked just like this. You see this all the time, though of course those are replicas. However, we are lucky enough to be here with the actual dress that Marilyn wore during this iconic program.
Wear something like that, and it was so beautiful and so special, and I just wanted to make sure that I honored that, and that it was seen the way that it.
And speaking of that JFK moment, here is a very well-preserved ticket to President Kennedy's birthday gala. Some other really cool Marilyn Monroe items on display included her personal makeup set. As you can read here, it took her 3 hours every day to do her makeup. I guess she wanted to make sure that everywhere she went, she looked perfect. You can also see one of Marilyn's spotted bikinis, which honestly is pretty conservative by today's standards. Then next to that, a very rare item. This is an actual lock of Marilyn Monroe's hair. I don't even know how they found this. Marilyn for sure was a Hollywood inspiration, and even today people are honoring her with things like this, a portrait of Marilyn, completely done with nail polish. I think she would have definitely approved of this. Then we get to see another sweet artistic portrait. This is Michael Jackson, the King of Pop, done completely in candy. Look at that licorice hair. Though he's no longer with us, Michael Jackson's music definitely still has millions of fans. Here's a lot of really cool items from his life, such as this custom-made jacket for his pet chimpanzee, and some items from his Super Bowl halftime performance. And we can't forget these fake fangs that he used in the Thriller music video. Much like how the Academy Awards celebrates excellence in film, I think as far as oddities go, this location has earned a golden Ripley.
Well, adventurers, that wraps up another collection of amazing oddities. But don't you worry, there are plenty more across the country that we'll be bringing to you soon. That's all for this adventure. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below where you'd like to see us go next. If you're interested in some awesome bonus content, including getting a postcard sent to you every single month from our trips out on the road, make sure you hit our Patreon link down below and check it out. Well, my name is David, and this has been Abnormal Voyages. Thanks for tagging along. We'll see you next time.